Welcome to the parade ring of Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It's with great excitement that we bring you a slight remix on our Taking the Reins show, which you would have seen. We've been around the country doing various interviews with major trainers, and we are now bringing you the Taking the Reins preview show, of which we will be featuring these shows in the build-up and all the preliminaries into our Cape Summer Festival meetings here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. As you would have seen in the racing press by now, we've introduced 9 headline festival meetings, which will be bringing all patrons, owners, and punters on course. A vastly different on-course experience, and we are also rejuvenating what's happening on the track, keeping a little bit different from our regular in-season days by pumping up the prize money. And of course, we have introduced fantastic bonuses for raiders in terms of the Race Cape incentive scheme. 50,000 Rand up for grabs for every owner and trainer each of a festival winner. For all the raiders, we've already seen the Funzale Yard reel off a couple of wins at our in-season meetings, banking those various 10,000 Rand checks. And it's going to be a fantastic season that we're looking forward to. We are doing this show with a little bit of a spin. We will be obviously getting various trainer and jockey comments throughout all our content and on 240 as race meetings approach. So we thought with our preview show, especially with the first show being the Cape Punters Cup, we would bring you a punting, gambling-centric type of show. And for that reason, we've got none other than the man on my right to help us through the race card as our first summer festival meeting, the Cape Punters Cup. Kurt Felix, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking some time out. And I know you're going to guide us in terms of the betting, various potential betting moves we could be looking at. Obviously, we've got a little bit of anti-post betting and early betting that's come out, but obviously the liquidity comes race morning, and that's when the market changes. And you'll just be guiding us along with how you think horses are probably going to start off come race time. And just give us from an outsider's point of view looking in, how so far has the season looked for you? Obviously, things have changed with Cape Racing recently, and season in full swing now.
Firstly, thanks for having us, or for having me here, Just. A real privilege. Cape Racing so far has been unbelievable. I mean, to be back at the racecourse almost every meeting it's been exceptional. You guys have really revitalized the whole racing experience for owners and racegoers on a daily basis. Not just for an owner, but for your average punter, the whole experience is completely changed. And I think it's fantastic what you guys have done.
I think what's very important is the cross mix of horses coming in. Absolutely. And it's been very, very good to see the raiders doing so well so far. And we'll touch into that when we get into a little bit of the Durban form. But the way it's been holding up has been really encouraging from a raiders' point of view. But we'll dive straight into it. And the first race we're going to talk about, we're going to keep it mainly to the main races, and we'll touch on other horses throughout the card for exotic purposes. But Race 2 sees the inaugural running of the Summer Bowl. Now, the Summer Bowl was a race we put on the program as essentially a prep race for the Victor Stakes coming up on Hollywoodbets Guineas Day. We introduced a couple of these type of preps over the weeks, and we saw the Bantry Bay Stakes last week, which had, I think it was six individual Group 1 winners in it, and as a prep for the Cape Merchants. So this is the Summer Bowl Victor's prep, and once again, not a massive field, but Kurt, we see some super high-quality fillies here.
Absolutely.
And none less than Shanzanay.
Absolutely. A small field, but high-class fillies and mares in the race. A filly like Shanzanay coming back second and after a rest. You could see her last start. She needed it that last 100 meters desperately, and I think she's going to be cherry ripe in her next start for Saturday. Just to run through the betting, she's around 12 to 10 at the moment. You can see just traveling through the race here, she's absolutely cantering.
Yeah, Kurt, so this is the Diana Stakes, which obviously was at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. I mean, she's moved up, she's hit the front here, going super, super well. And I think 100% fit Shanzanay would have put the race to bed there, but as we see, she starts to hang a little bit towards the outside, a sign of maybe a little bit of tiredness, and Santa Maria just comes over the top and wins the race. I think Shanzanay, that's not ring rusty and has that fitness to her, probably would have put that race to bed. Yeah. But that's an encouraging sign. Obviously, Kurt, as you were saying, coming off quite a bit of a layoff there.
But staying on at the end, which is always encouraging. Just to run through the betting, she's currently 12 to 10, and rightly so. She is the class package. She is probably the distance specialist in the race. I mean, a filly like, a mare like Marina is probably going to be looking for slightly further in a race. She's currently sitting at 16 to 10 And then a filly like Silver Darling is currently around 7-2, 4-1. Both those two fillies are going to probably need their first start back after rest. So rightly so, Chansonnet sitting at around 12-10 is the right price.
And yeah, I think, what do you think come race time? Will she come in a little bit, or is there some leverage there?
Very hard to say. I mean, the stable hasn't been firing here in Cape Town. They've only had winners in Durban at recent. I would say 12-10 around even money is probably the right price, purely because Marina and Silver Darling would probably need their first runs, and it's not their optimum trip. So around even money, I would say, is the right price time of race.
Fantastic. And I do know, for the viewers out there, we would have seen a little bit of discussion with Justin Snaith, a couple of interviews at his yard. He feels like Silver Darling, with this run under the belt especially, could be a force to be reckoned with come Paddock Stakes, Mallorca Stakes. Group 1 winning filly, and they're expecting a big season from her. So a very intriguing race, and of course to have the quality of horse like Chansonnet racing again here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth as she builds up into her season is going to be a fantastic race to watch. But let's dive now into the 6th race, which is the newly named Cape Punters Cup. It's been long associated with Selangor, our Malaysian Turf Club partners, and they obviously gave up the race a couple years ago. We saw Concord come on board as the sponsors, which also ran out, I think, 2 years back. And as part of the themes that we're doing over the summer festival, we have dedicated this race meeting and this event to the punters. There's various punters initiatives going out throughout the day. And the Cape Punters Cup, this is the inaugural running, and it is what we will be sticking to going forward and building on this festival. This will be our opening meeting. So, Kurt, with that, how's the betting looking for the top couple of horses?
Currently, just Cousin Casey, rightly so, favourite at 18-10. Lightspeed sitting at around 4-1, 7-2, depending on who's priced up. Le Morne and At My Command around 13-2, 6.5-1. Dave the King around 10-1. And pretty much any price, anything else in the race, right around 20-25-1, bar those.
Well, that's fantastic. We'll start with the favourite, and we've seen a lot of gallop footage going around. He's done his work here, and we'll touch on Cousin Casey as we pull up the rerun to see that super performance out at Greyville when he won that Group 1. And what a force to be reckoned with. He was by far and away the top juvenile of last season. You see here, Kurt, he's taking a little bit of niggling just to stay with that pace. But once he gets into open running, and you can see him drop there, he rolls off the horse in front of him. And now it's about quickening and going on to win the race, and he does it in a matter of strides.
Absolutely. A typical Hollywood Grant van Niekerk ride, going 6 wide, but he puts the race to bed in a matter of strides. And I mean, you can see Grant doesn't ask him too much in the closing stages, and he wins hands and heels, it's very impressive.
Yeah, and I think what's quite promising is that the horses in behind him, Royal Victory, Prophet, etc., they went up to Johannesburg, and they've pretty much held that line of form
Absolutely.
up. It's been really good. I think that Royal Victory is a quite solid horse, and he's
100%.
maybe a horse we're going to see on the Hollywoodbets Guineas as well. But Cousin Casey, I think we got to pretty much agree that if he rocks up here, pretty much in that type of form, that level of fitness, he's going to be the horse to beat.
If he does need the run and he's fit and well, he's going to be the horse to beat, no doubt.
And one thing about Glenn, I think, especially we've seen the horse, he's had a couple of gallops here. Glenn, he does tend to get them pretty fit for a return. And
absolutely.
No doubt about it, there's going to be meat on the bone here for later on in the season. But at the end of the day, this is the stepping stone into the big one for the middle of the month, next month. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a very good performance from Cousin Casey. Main dangers, Kurt, we're looking at a horse possibly light speed. We're going to see the rerun now of him in the Langerman. He's been the leading light of the Cape juveniles, the horses that didn't go to Durban. What do you think about his chances here as we look at him here? On the lead, a big horse, this guy. Remember, as a yearling, he was a really awkward, big type of yearling, and he's grown into his frame. And, you know, he's been the best horse in his races. And Keegan here, so this is Grant riding him, has taken him up and used his action. And look at him go. I mean, he's a big striding horse, and he wins the Langman really well.
Absolutely, yeah. He won this race really well. And even his next start at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, he did everything the hard way. He had to go to the front, and he was gutsy, and he comes back and he fights hard. And that's what I like about this horse. He never throws in the towel, and he just digs down deep every single time. And that's a sign of a very good horse.
You could see there that horse in the light blue there, Port Louis, headed him at a stage.
Absolutely.
Had a bit of a change of stick, change of stride, and I think that's indicative of the type of horse Lightspeed is. He is more of a, dare say, going 10 furlong when he's got
I would agree 100% there.
when
yeah.
he's got such good form over a bit shorter. But that's the type of horse he looks like. And I think even though he's coming off a bit of a 70-odd day break here, I think we'll see a massive performance from Lightspeed. What about the other dangers, Kurt? This race doesn't stop there if you take them out. We've got a horse like Dave the King. Now, when I looked at him early on in the season, I thought, wow, potential gold rush horse here. He's really talented, but what do you make of his chances?
Well, 2 or 3 runs back, I thought he was my Guineas horse, and then he went all wrong at Durbanville, Hollywoodbets Durbanville. You know, at the same time, he's done nothing wrong after that. I mean, he probably needed his last start, but this is a true test for him now. He needs to produce now to be taken seriously. A horse like Le Mans, he's 3 from 3. He's been super impressive. He's a beautiful specimen. Again, he's been thrown in the deep end today or on Saturday, and this is a true test for him. The other danger, at my command, the only question mark for me is stamina issues. If he gets to trip, he's got to be a runner. But in my opinion, on the dam side, he doesn't quite stay, and that's the only issue for me.
I think you're right there, Kurt. I mean, Brett's got a fantastic hand here. This horse, At My Command, got a lot of speed. I think a mile is going to be really top of his tier there, and I think with that bad draw, he might have to
He's going to really work
himself.
for
That might take that little bit of edge out of him. So very competitive race. I think Cousin Casey, Lightspeed, depending on their condition. Dave the King is there as well. But it's a fantastic prelude into the Hollywoodbets Guineas.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to the end of our first segment. So sit tight, and after this international racing, we will bring you the sophomore sprint.